Throughout history, there have been cases that defy explanation. Events so bizarre, so utterly strange, that even the most brilliant minds can offer no logical solution. Some cases leave us questioning the very fabric of reality, and one such case still lingers in the minds of those who encountered it. A case that has no logical explanation. This is the story of the disappearance of the Flannan Isles lighthouse keepers in 1900, a case that to this day remains unsolved. Three men, James Ducate, Thomas Marshall, and Donald MacArthur, vanished without a trace, leaving behind only eerie clues and unanswered questions. The lighthouse, which had been a beacon of safety for sailors off the coast of Scotland, stood silent and dark, its light extinguished and its keepers nowhere to be found. On the morning of December 15, 1900, a routine supply ship arrived at the remote lighthouse on the Flannan Isles. The crew expected to find the three men hard at work, as usual. But when they reached the island, they found something strange. The lighthouse door was locked from the inside, the clock inside had stopped, and the table was set for dinner, untouched. But the keepers were gone. The first alarm bells went off when the relief ship, which was due to visit the island every 2 weeks, failed to make contact with the keepers. As the ship's crew approached the lighthouse, they noticed something even more unsettling. The weather was calm, but the lighthouse light had not been turned on the night before. A critical task, especially in treacherous conditions. Something was terribly wrong. The rescue crew searched the lighthouse thoroughly. They found the keepers' belongings, their coats and hats, behind. But there was no sign of struggle, no indication of a violent event. Yet, the lamps were out, the food was left on the table, and the clock had stopped. But there was one clue that sent chills down their spines. One of the keepers, Thomas Marshall, was reportedly missing his boots, as if he had left the island without a thought for the dangers. What could have possibly happened? Why would three experienced lighthouse keepers leave their post without any warning? And why was there no trace of them? No footprints in the sand? No signs of a struggle? The calm weather made it unlikely that a storm could have swept them away. It was as though they had simply vanished into thin air. Some theories emerged in the wake of their disappearance. Some believed that the men were swept away by a freak wave, but there were no signs of waves large enough to pull them into the sea. Others suggested that they may have been victims of an accident, a fall from the cliff or an internal dispute, but with no bodies, no evidence, it seemed impossible to draw any concrete conclusions. There were those who believed that something far more mysterious had taken place, that the three keepers were victims of something supernatural. The local islanders whispered of strange lights seen in the sky the night before the disappearance. And some even suggested the possibility of a haunting. Had the men encountered something otherworldly that led to their disappearance? One theory was based on the idea that the keepers had experienced a psychological breakdown. The isolation of the lighthouse, cut off from the world for weeks at a time, could have driven them to madness. Some even suggested that one of the keepers may have turned violent, but the lack of physical evidence made this theory just as improbable as any other. To this day, the disappearance of the Flannan Isles lighthouse keepers remains a mystery. The case was never solved, and no new evidence has surfaced to explain what happened.